Good morning, welcome back to the channel. It's been a little while, but we are back with a special guest with a very special car. Josh, you have to be like crazy excited about this Cayman. Walk us through, what kind of spec did you go for?
Yeah, so this is my 718 Cayman. Picked it up just about last week. So standard white exterior with the satin black Carrera S wheels.
Dude, I'm loving the satin black.
Yeah.
I think the satin black just really sets the white off. Like, it's just super aggressive, and it matches this side intake right here, which is somewhat of a matte satin black as well.
Right.
White, which white is this?
So this is the standard white. This isn't the metallic white. The metallic white is an upcharge.
Yes.
So this is just the standard white. But yeah, the wheels are probably my favorite option on the car. It kind of changes the whole aesthetic completely. And they're wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires.
Michelin, gotta go Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin is by far one of the best out there.
This is the facelift model, 718, as he just said.
Right.
Lights, standard lights, still look beautiful. Porsche does a great job with their lights. Considering these are the base lights, they still look amazing, and they still do a phenomenal job. Porsche crest right here, real logo, which we love.
Yep.
I mean, the mirrors, the whole body of this car is just absolutely gorgeous. How about this wing? I mean, everyone loves an active wing.
Yeah, so the wing comes up at 70 miles an hour and then goes back down at 55, and then you can manually deploy it in the cabin. Standard exhaust tip as well. This is the round oval tip.
For the 19s, correct?
Yes, so actually sport exhaust is standard on the 19s. They added it in just because people loved it so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the standard round oval tip, and then you can also get two different sized, the chrome and the regular black.
And I personally love how they incorporated this badge right here. It's like a kind of like a 3D badge.
Yeah, so it's actually raised.
Right.
In the in this piece right here. Yeah, it's kind of a cool aesthetic.
That's gorgeous. And back to these Porsche lights. I mean, these 4 posts, the engineering is just unreal on these lights.
They're pretty sweet.
Like the blinkers and everything are just insane. And then for the Caymans, why did you go Cayman over 911? Because a lot of people say, if I were to get a Porsche, I would get a 911.
Yeah, I mean,
personally, the Cayman just has its own feel.
Definitely. The biggest difference in Cayman and 911 is mid-engine versus rear engine. So with the 911, the engine is directly over the rear axle. And with the Cayman, it's literally right behind you, so it's a mid-engine car.
And this is where you change your oil?
Yeah, so if I pop this, you open it, the engine is right under this.
Correct.
So if you pop that open, you have your oil fill. You pop this one open, you have your coolant.
That's
pretty cool.
Crazy. And it's like around like such nice parts like the carpet but when you bring your car to Porsche, they know how to take care of their cars. Definitely. They're not going to get your car dirty.
Yeah,
That's the great thing about Porsche.
Definitely.
I say we go take a ride and see how this thing feels.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Let's take it for a drive.
So I definitely want to talk a little bit more about Porsche and the Porsche family and how everyone seems to get along and just have a good time as a company, and not just being co-workers but friends, hanging outside of work, the events that you all hold. I definitely want to hear about that from your perspective, considering that you work for Porsche.
Yeah, it's definitely a family. Everyone who kind of works for Porsche or owns one kind of understands. It's like a mutual friendship type thing, and it's great to be a part of, personally. I mean, I drive these cars all day at work, and it's fun and all, but being able to take one home every day is a totally different experience, and just drive on the weekends. It's a totally different experience than driving at work.
For sure.
And it's a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're gonna get on to just some city roads, kind of talk more about the car, some of the options. Not gonna go crazy today. I feel like it's more important to kind of figure out how these cars are in the city, considering that Josh and I live in New Orleans. That's where we are going to be spending most of our time in these cars. But speaking of ride quality, this car it's sporty, but it feels comfortable on these roads.
Yeah, I mean, it's really not a bad ride. I mean, when you buy one of these cars, if you buy, lease, whatever you do, you kind of understand what you're getting yourself into.
Right.
I've seen customers go from Mercedes S-Classes to Caymans.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't complain because they know it's a sports car, it's going to have a rougher ride, but at the same time, when you're at highway speeds, I mean, it's smooth. It's really not, it's not that crazy. It's really great.
It's like I was talking about in my previous video, the 540i, reviewing that car. I mentioned how a car can be, like, the steering can be direct, but the car can also still be luxury and comfortable. This car reminds me of that a lot because you still have the very direct steering, but it can still be luxury. I don't know if that's coming out how I plan it to be, but I don't know. I like direct steering. I mean, don't you?
Yeah, it's extremely direct.
And this is an electric steering rack.
It's electrically power assisted.
Right.
Yeah.
But Porsche seemed to perfect their electric steering rack, unlike other manufacturers and brands and so on.
That's the biggest thing customers say when they're, the first time they drive a Porsche is they feel like the steering is heavier. And we do that because, in racing you have very heavy steering. Most of them are manual steering racks, and you get a more direct feeling with the road. And that's how we transfer that into our road cars. And it has a more pleasurable driving experience.
Exactly.
In my opinion.
Definitely want to talk about this exhaust, because when I heard it for the first time, I was like, wait, how is it that loud? And it really does get significantly more loud in the sport mode. Tell us a little bit about that, because the pops.
Definitely.
Wow.
Yeah. So 2019, this is a 2019 718 Cayman. So in 2019, they actually optioned sport exhaust as standard with all the Caymans. So this one comes as standard. And then when you put it in sport mode, it raises your idle from about 900 RPMs to 1,000 RPMs, and it opens all the valves in the exhaust.
Yeah.
And then on the decels, on your downshifts, it dumps fuel in the exhaust, and it creates all the pops and bangs.
That is where the fun comes in.
Right.
I mean, right there, you guys probably can't hear it, but it's a huge difference. And that's what a Cayman is about. It's about fun. It's about emotion. It's about drama. Yes, this car could be a weekend car, but as a daily driver, you can have the best of both worlds. If you want to quiet it down, simply just press the button. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, on my on my commute to work every day, I don't turn on any of the crazy modes. I literally just drive it like a normal car. Right. And then when, I'm out, that night or something, and I want to have some fun, I turn on everything, turn off traction control. And then,
like we keep saying, that's the beauty of Porsche.
Right. You can have best of both worlds.
And a lot of people say, I don't need both. I just want to be harsh and rough all the time. But trust me, when you live with these cars, you want to be able to sit back and relax and have a nice speaker system. Speaking of these speakers, this car is equipped with Bose, correct?
Correct. So there's 3 different options that you can get in these cars. The standard sound system, which personally doesn't sound the best.
Right.
And then you can get Bose, and then you can go with Burmester, which is a crazy option.
Absolutely, yeah.
But Bose does the job. It sounds great. Plenty of sound.
And for us, I mean, Bose is really all we need because we're more focused about the driving.
Right. Yeah.
And mainly we're going to be in sport. But if we do want that sound, Bose is definitely doing the job.
Definitely.
For sure.
It does the job.
Apple CarPlay, once again, a great feature. Actually, in all Porsches nowadays, correct?
So it's actually an option still.
Okay, still an option.
I believe it's like a $280 to $300 option.
Correct.
But I mean, it's 2019.
Right.
It's not that much of an option, But it's definitely something.
It's definitely something you want to spec for sure.
It's something you want, yeah.
And that's why
the iPhone
you spec that.
Right.
Speaking of what you selected for this car, kind of run us through. I know you have the Apple CarPlay, like we just spoke about. The steering wheel. What is this? The GT Sport?
Right. So this is the GT Sport steering wheel, finished in Alcantara, and then I also got the Alcantara shifter, which is one of my favorite options in this car. That was like when I ordered this car in March. I was like, I have to have that option because
Yes.
it reminds me of GT cars.
Yeah,
It reminds
for
me
sure.
of GT3s, GT2s, you know, of that nature.
And you're looking at this
Right.
wheel all the time.
Exactly.
So
This
it's
is
definitely
what-
something you want to
Yeah.
invest in.
This is your interpretation of the car.
Right.
So I had to get that, and then the multifunction steering wheel. So
Yes.
I have the buttons on the steering wheel for your volume, your phone controls, going through the screen in your gauge cluster. So yeah, I had those
Boost
three
levels,
options. Yes, it
water
shows you.
temps, oil
Right.
temps.
So the multifunction display in the gauge cluster shows your PSI. So
Right.
it goes up to, I believe, 17 to 20 pounds or so. Water
Wow.
temp, water temp, oil temp, and oil pressure. And then your fuel gauge, date, time, all that.
And we were talking a little bit earlier about, on our own off camera, about this car does not have dual climate control. But in a Cayman, I mean, usually
not,
the people
yeah.
that you're riding with, like,
Yeah.
feel like you feel, and
Right.
they kind of, you're not even worried about that. I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely think you were smart about picking your options.
Right.
Yes, everyone has a budget, and you need to pick the things that you like. And that's the great thing about Porsche is you can get rid of some things that aren't as important to you, but also put some things in there that you do like the steering wheel, like the Alcantara shift boot. Exterior features, you got the wheels.
Right. The only exterior option that I got were the wheels. That's really it. I
Right.
think the wheels are the biggest option on any car you
Yes.
or purchase or
For
anything.
sure.
Wheels make or break a car, truly. Other options, these are the sport seats. So we have 4 different options of seats that you can get: Sport, Sport Plus, 14-way, and 18-way.
Right.
So these are just the standard Sport. They are manually adjusted. And the reason you justify manual seats in a car like this is because I'm the only person driving this car.
Correct.
Once I set it, I'm not ever going to move it again,
Exactly.
and it's not a pain to move it.
Right.
And
Yes, it'd be nice to have.
yeah, I mean, it would totally be nice to have, the 18-way seats, but
Right.
then again, they're also like, I don't know,
Yeah.
$2,000 to $3,000.
And people need to realize there's a lot of things that are nice to have, but when you have to make a smart business decision on buying a car, you're gonna have to leave some things out. Even people that get GT2RSs, GT3Ss, even non-RS cars, there's some things that just don't make sense.
Right,
And
absolutely.
that's
yeah.
kind of something that people that aren't in this situation to buy a car like this don't understand, which we're trying to convey.
It's all personal preference. It's all personal preference.
Right.
Like some people, when I show them this car, they're like, "Oh, I hate the Alcantara." Like they're like, "Oh, I could never live with that," because because they work in dirty climates and stuff like that. But personally, it's something I really wanted, so I got it.
Yeah, and when you're driving a car like this, you tend to keep your hands clean. At least I do. When I get done eating fast food, I always wash my hands because I have that in mind. And that's Porsche customers and people that work at Porsche like you, we pay attention to those little details.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my hands are dirty, I gotta wash them. It's a bit crazy, but that's just how we are.
You think a little bit more before you drive the car.
Right.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't think we got into the engine specs at all.
Yes.
So,
Power, torque.
Power, torque. So this is a 2-liter flat 4 turbocharged engine. Produces 300 horsepower, 280 foot-pounds of torque. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. I mean, it's 6-speed manual.
In this car, redline's at what is it?
Redline's around, I believe, 7,300.
And that's
7,400.
that's a high number for a flat 4.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how my old Scion FRS was. Like, people couldn't believe, wow, it redline's that high, but
Yeah.
now these new flat 4s are just able to be pushed to their limit.
Yeah, I mean the Porsche has a long history with horizontally opposed engines, and all the R&D that went into this engine, it pays off.
Right,
And you can see it.
The Porsche engineers, they have this stuff dialed in. It's
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like on the tip of their tongue. They know what they're doing. They know how to implement it into these cars.
Definitely.
And just because this isn't a GT car, it's not like they don't pay attention to that stuff. They make
Right.
every car that they touch amazing. And that's definitely something I always like to touch on, because a lot of different manufacturers, you get into their lower tier cars and they don't feel as special. But I mean, sitting in this right now, you don't have it crazily optioned, but it still feels Porsche, and it still feels complex and solid. Like, there's no rattles, there's nothing aggravating me. It's very comfortable.
Definitely.
I mean, for a daily driver, what else could you ask for?
Yeah, not much more. I've been daily driving it for a week, and I love it.
Right.
Yeah. A side note to that, every single Porsche is still built in Stuttgart, or I'm sorry, in Germany.
Germany, correct.
Yeah. Whereas you go to BMW or Mercedes, some of these other brands, and they're built in Alabama or North Carolina or somewhere in the States that you just don't know about. Every single Porsche is still built in Europe,
which is keeps that heritage.
Yes, again, keeps the heritage, and it's really it's once they look at the price tag and they're like, oh my god, I can't afford this, right? And then you start explaining to them, why they are built the way they are and where they are built, and why we are one of the only coach builders in the market right now. You can still order any car in any spec that you want, so long as you have the budget to fulfill that.
Right. And I mean, speaking of working for Porsche again, do you see yourself with Porsche for an extended period of time? I mean, personally, I don't work for them, but when I go to these dealerships and talk to good people like you, it's welcoming.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely see myself working there for a little while.
Right.
The people are great. The brand truly invests in you. So I mean, you become a certified brand ambassador. They'll send you to Atlanta. They'll send you to wherever you need to go, and they'll hire the right people to train you.
And they want to train you.
Exactly.
They want to see you learn about their brand and take it to the next level, which is, it's not uncommon, but in other jobs, they find the money an issue to train you, and they're more worried about that. But with Porsche, it's they want everyone to be a part of, like, just the brand, and they want you to learn. They want to see you do well, and I mean, as an employee, that feels good. Definitely. I mean, I have to believe so.
It's very rewarding.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we our job is to get people excited about Porsche.
Yeah,
it's pretty easy.
Right. And speaking
it's
of
easy sometimes, yeah.
Porsche cars, I mean, Porsche, yes, they do have SUVs. You all just got some pretty serious.
We just got the 2019 Macans in.
Right.
They're pretty sweet. 2 new colors that we just got, or actually 3, I'd say. So we got Chalk, Miami Blue, and Mamba Green.
The Mamba Green.
Mamba
I
Green's
was
crazy.
stressing this to Josh.
I'll send you a picture of that, and you can put it up on the screen.
Yes. Insane.
Yeah, I'll send you a picture, and they look insane. Yeah. They kind of did a facelift on the front, the rear, and the PCM, and it really looks very nice.
And I heard they're actually in the Macans. They changed the setup of the motor to where it doesn't have to get all the way up to temperature to produce more torque. Or I know they did a couple of refinements on the Macans, which make them drive better. I mean, we drove one. Yeah. Josh took us for a drive in a 2019.
Yeah, 2019
Macan S, non-sport chrono, but wow, that thing was an absolute pleasure to drive.
They're great. What we did for the 19 Macan S was we took the entry-level Cayman motor, so the 3-liter single-turbo V6,
right,
and we put that in the Macan S.
Correct.
And it's miles better than the previous generation twin-turbo motor. Everything's just so much smoother and quieter.
Yes.
It's much quieter, makes a little bit more power, so now it's up to 348 horsepower.
Wow.
7-speed PDK. Sounds
still keeping that PDK, which a lot of people are scared that Porsche's going to phase out of that, but I mean, I don't think they will. I mean,
I don't think they will. Yeah,
we saw it in the Cayenne Coupe, but that's more of a scientific reason. As to towing, I believe.
Towing capabilities, weight as well. So now it's an 8-speed Tiptronic transmission, Tiptronic S. It's a fantastic transmission. If you ever have the chance to drive one, especially in the Cayenne Turbo, you'll understand that it's really plenty fast enough.
And I mean, you and I, we noticed that shift time, but people that will be driving Cayennes, and I mean, maybe even we could see it in the Macans in the future, but they're not so worried about shift times. They're worried about how smooth it is and things like that. But I'd love to see, as a car enthusiast like you and I, them keep that that transmission,
Yeah.
which I believe that Porsche will, and they've never seemed to upset me. So
Yeah, they'll keep the transmission for sure. They'll just keep refining it over the years. It's like the 911s. I mean, the same overall shape of the body has changed over the years in slight different ways, but it's an evolution rather than a revolution.
Right, and that's what makes Porsche so great. They're just refining every year to make these cars even better. People love the way they have been and that they are, so why change it? Let's just improve the product and make it 10 times better. But
Definitely.
Josh, it's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much for sharing with us, and
Definitely.
of course, I wish you the best of luck at
you, man.
Porsche.
Definitely.
Could definitely see you doing something big with that. You're very enthusiastic with it. But guys, drop a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe. We're gonna have more content like this in the future. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.